Hey, good morning. This morning we're going to be in Psalm 96, and I know a couple weeks ago I used Psalm 96, but we just really started into Psalm 96, and this week the focus is really going to be really about making disciples and spreading the gospel and preaching the gospel. Psalm 96, verse 3 says, "Tell of his glory among the nations, his wonderful deeds among all the peoples." That right there, when Scripture says "tell of this," to me, I really take that as a command. And so, a way that we can worship, because we're still on worship, still learning how to worship, learning the different ways to worship. Because here in our church, it's my desire for us to get good at worship. Not so that we can please ourselves, not so that we can look good to others or be appealing to others, but really and genuinely so that we can please God. You see that in the Old Testament, that they would worship, it would be pleasing to God. You see different places in Scripture that there are things that are pleasing to God that His people are doing. And so as we worship, I think that we really need to kind of gain this understanding that our worship is not something that just happens in what we call the sanctuary on a Sunday morning. Our worship is something that can happen every day of our lives. It's something that can happen throughout our day, and it's something really that should be happening. So as Psalm 96 talks so much about worship, it starts out by saying, sing a song to the Lord, and then it says, tell all the peoples. That to me is a great commission kind of thing. Tell all the peoples. That's something that we should be doing in worship, is telling people about Jesus. We get so excited about, things in life that really don't last past today, maybe tomorrow. I'm a sports guy. I love sports, and every year I get into the playoffs in these sports and things as things unfold, you're like, oh, it's such a great story and things like this. But something that we need to take in mind is that very, very seldom do we go back and see those stories again and be inspired by them. We have to kind of go back to the archives and dig deep maybe to be inspired by them. But it's not something that really impacts us greatly. Like, it's really not life changing. But the words in this book and the author of this book are life changing. And so, as he says to tell about him, it's so much more important to tell about the Lord instead of telling about the greatest game that we love, or that we saw played, or the most exciting moment like that. Because truly, the most exciting moment for us is when Jesus died on the cross and rose from the dead, and that is what Scripture tells us to tell people about. So in our worship, tell of the peoples, tell all the peoples of the world who He is. So right there you have it, the Great Commission in the Old Testament. Be about it.